Probably. Inspections alone are insufficient. Let's go to the next slide. This is important. Now, what they're saying here is inspections alone won't work. If nations engage in dangerous activities and only national good faith and international policing stand in the way, the existence of the prohibition, are you ready for this? Just because you say, like, hey, you should stop here against such use of such piles to produce fissional material would tend to stimulate and encourage surreptitious evasions. So, in other words, it's kind of like if you put stop signs places, people will roll through them with a second gear stop. And they will do that where you put the stop sign. So if you put controls over certain things, people will go, oh, well, that's where we should go to break the rules. That's what they're arguing. Now, I think there's something about this is a little facile. I mean, there's a great truth to this. You can argue this probably with regard to anything. But it's interesting they argue this because what do we rely on today? Oh, IAEA inspections. That's it. Is that going to work in the case of enrichment? We may be, with any bad luck, able to find out soon. Well, I hope I'm wrong, but that's the worry with Iran, is it not? Okay. All right. Let's go to the next slide. That's the reason they wanted the international authority to own and operate certain things. They didn't want to rely on inspections of good faith alone. Timely warning, let's go to that. Well, you need to have a system of inspections that provides unambiguous, reliable danger signals that flash early enough to leave time adequate. That's where timely warning comes to permit other nations alone or in concert to take appropriate action. That is to intervene to prevent the diversion from turning into a bomb. A pretty important concept. We do not hold ourselves to that standard sufficiently any longer. That is one of the missions of my operation is to, constantly point a finger towards this problem. It's they understood it back in 46. We keep forgetting it. Let's go to the next slide. A year or more would be required after seizure before atomic weapons could be produced in quantities sufficient to have an important influence on the outcome of the war. They, I think, implicitly thought that you needed to have a system that would afford a year's notice that a diversion was taking place and that there were still 12 months to do something before it turned into a bomb. By that standard, we do not have safeguards for most of the things that we look at. Not everything. And we'll come to that when we do the IEA. There are a few things that the inspections, thankfully, I should say not a few things. There are a lot of things that will give us that kind of warning, but there are a number of things that won't, and we don't make the distinction that they did between the two. Okay. Let's go to the next slide.